Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Delaney, and for today's video we are actually going to be trying on some Dollar Tree makeup. I got the inspiration for this from many different YouTubers on the platform. I believe Manny MUA did one. Any other creators out there did this and you want to tag them, please do. This is not a new concept. I don't claim this as my own, but I did love the idea of seeing what the Dollar Tree has to offer for makeup. I've gone in there a few times and they seem to have a lot to choose from, but I was always kind of scared to play with makeup from the dollar store. You've heard horror stories before about it, so I wanted to see, is it truly that bad, or is it just all kind of like the fear and it's just cheaper makeup? So if you're interested in seeing my trying on Dollar Tree makeup video, then keep on watching. Low-key, the dollar store has a ton of great things there, just in general, like not just for makeup, but there are acrylic organizers as well. So these are great for like different compacts and stuff, but currently I'm just using it to hold all of my dollar store makeup that I got. Most of the stuff that I got is from LA Colors, Revlon, Wet n Wild, or e.l.f. That's just like the main brands that were at the dollar store that I saw and recognized and was like, ooh, I'll try that. I want to go ahead and add some brows real quick because I feel like my brows are just kind of chilling. So this is from LA Colors, and this is their Defines and Fills Brows brow pencil in dark blonde. All right, so this is what the pencil looks like, and it's a sharpenable pencil, and it has this little brush tip applicator thing. That's kind of your spoolie, I guess. So this little brush thing is like your spoolie. I will say I'm not as much of a fan as this kind of an applicator, or this kind of a brush, just because it looks like a toothbrush and it doesn't really get all up in there like a spoolie does, but I have so many spoolies it doesn't really matter that much anyway. So let's actually test out the product. It's not the finest tip ever, but if you are just kind of like a fill in your brows kind of person, then this might be okay. Now I have not tried this out yet, so this is a first impression. Ooh, okay, it's hard as a rock. Oh, it's like actually hurting me. This is as much as I could get off on my hand right now, and the color looks very warm. It's not exactly what I thought when it was saying dark blonde. It seems very yellow toned, but you know what? I'm gonna try it anyway. It's really, really tough. It's not gliding on at all. Clearly the shade is not for me. This side is like clearly way too warm, and this side is my normal brow. But I mean, for $1, if you can find your shade, maybe, but so far it's not doing great at all. Yeah, that's as much as I can get out of it. It's actually hurting my brow. So on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other brow and I'll be right back. All right, so both brows are now done, and really nothing is looking that good. They're not looking that great. I'm trying to use this little brush to kind of work the product through it, and it's not working at all. But that's also because not a lot of product is there either. But clearly the color is just all wrong. It's not creamy at all. It was really hard to get pigment off of it, and my brows look very weird. So I would say I've tried the CoverGirl brow pencil, the e.l.f. brow pencil. Both are affordable options, and they're not $1, but at least they are very comparable to high-end brow pencils. So you will not need to spend over probably $6 on a brow pencil. This is $1, and it is messing with the white balance in here. It is making me look so yellow. Why is it doing that? Hey, what up? It's like, it's making me look yellow. Okay, yeah, brows not looking that great, but we're gonna move forward. So I just wanted to briefly talk about this one right here. This is from e.l.f. and this is a color corrector. This did not work very well for me. It will in a way, but it really does not stay in place very well. So if you put concealer on top of it, it basically just mixes with your concealer. So I made two little like green patches. It's supposed to combat redness and kind of cancel that out and color correct so that you can go ahead and add concealer and it'll be covered up more easily. I did not find that it did much of anything. It does tint it a little bit green, but because it does not dry down fully, it will mix with your concealer and make your concealer look green. So that I'm not a fan of. So if you find this, I personally would not recommend. Just my experience with it. Let me know if you've tried that. But next up, we're gonna go with the face products. So I actually have a blush, a bronzer, and a highlighter today. So we're gonna start with bronzer. This is from LA Colors, and it is a powder blush with a velvety finish, but it is a it says it's a bronzer, but it also says it's a blush. So I guess it's a shade that can be used as a bronzer. It's in shade Bronze. So one thing that is unanimous with Dollar Tree, and it's the Dollar Tree, it's a cheap product, so it's gonna have cheap packaging, but I will say that sometimes it's almost worth it if it's a product you like to get it at maybe the $3 to $4 mark because of the packaging. Yes, it's a lot of plastic packaging, but sometimes they don't stay closed, they fall out, they break easily. It's just not always great. Like the eyebrow pencil, this fell off so many times when I tried to use this as like going through my brows. So one thing to note about all of these products is the packaging is not always the greatest. So, but here is what the bronzer looks like. They did not have that many shades to choose from, so this is the only one that I saw that was a bronzer, so hopefully it works for me. It does come with a little brush. I'm probably just gonna put that to the side and not touch it just because that brush is not anywhere big enough for me for a bronzer brush. I'm actually gonna go ahead and with my bronzer brush, I'm gonna see what it picks up. So first I'm gonna swatch it. Ooh, it's very warm. It's almost orange, and it's messing with my camera again. That almost looks like an eyeshadow. It's so shiny and orange. Is this gonna ruin my makeup? Maybe, but we're gonna try it anyway. That's what the video's for, right? So I'm gonna take my big fluffy brush and dip it in. Is anything picking up? A little bit. Okay. Nothing's really happening. I was expecting a lot of orange. Oh my god, it's making me so yellow. I need to fix this. Okay, I put the light setting on cool just so you can kind of see the color a little bit better because my camera was going crazy. So hopefully this will combat the yellow because I do have yellow lights behind me as well. Will this work in a pinch? Yes, it absolutely will. But it's a little on the patchy side. It's orange, not my shade. But if your foundation is not the right tone, this may help you because it can kind of make you, well, just one shade darker. It's not the patchiest thing in the world, to be honest. I've had worse, but definitely not what I normally go for. I usually go for a cooler toned bronzer just because I'm so pale. Like I feel like if it's too warm, it gets yellow or orange on me. So I guess it's buildable, but it just takes a long time to build it up. So if you are of a deeper skin tone, this is absolutely not gonna work for you. You probably could tell that by the shade in particular, but it's just not super pigmented, which is okay. But at the same time, if it takes so much product to build up, then is it actually worth it? Because you're paying $1 for it, but you're gonna be using it so fast, and it's not like the best formula ever, so I would just recommend getting like the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I know it's way more expensive than $1, but at the same time, it gives you such a beautiful look, and they have so many different shades you can choose from. This is not bad by any means. You can definitely get a look that you like, but definitely not gonna be something that I'm going to be reaching for a lot, sadly to say. But I am bronzed, so it did its job. Next up is blush, and it also comes with a little brush. This is another LA Colors product, and it is in shade Peach Rose. This one did not come in the same kind of packaging. Actually, yes it did. I took it out for some reason. I wanted to swatch it. But it comes in a very similar package to the other one, just different colors. And it does have some glitter in there, but it doesn't look like the product is going to show up like glittery. It just looks like it has it like as an overspray. But Here is the shade. And this is actually a shade that I would reach for if it works pretty well. I actually like that mauve-y, like light pink. It's actually showing up pretty pigmented, so that actually has potential. Let's see. So I'm gonna start with using my normal blush brush, and if this doesn't work, then I'll use one that's more dense just to try to pick up some more product. But I'm gonna go in with my Baddington Beauty blush brush, and this is picking up a lot more than the bronzer did. Now I will say you can knock off the excess to get that glitter overspray off, because it might not actually be an overspray. As I'm getting deeper, there's still more glitter in there, so if you don't want glitter to show up, just knock it off. That is showing up really nicely, actually. Is this the most pigmented blush in the entire world? No, but it's buildable and it's actually working pretty nicely. This blush is actually doing really well. Now granted, I am pretty fair, so this shade is really light, so it does show up on me, but maybe if you're a deeper skin tone it might not. But they actually did have other shades of this, and they had some more peachy leaning ones, they had some more neutral leaning ones, so I will say there was actually a decent shade range available when I was there previously. So this so far is really actually, I'm liking this. This is something I might actually keep. Because if the other stuff doesn't work, I will find a new home for them, but this one so far is impressing me. Much more than the bronzer. I don't know what it was about the bronzer. Like maybe it just needed a different brush. Maybe the color was just not, I don't know. Maybe it was older. Maybe it's been in the store longer. I don't know. But this blush is doing remarkably well. Now I would say this is definitely comparable to the Wet n Wild blushes. I mean, it's acting very similar to those. I have a palette of Wet n Wild blushes. This is very, very, very similar to that. Yeah. It almost has a similar shade to, what is it? A ColourPop one, the Desert Rose one that I have from ColourPop. I do think the formula is much softer on the ColourPop one and blends out just a hair better, but this one is really, really nice, and especially for $1, I don't know, that's pretty nice. That's pretty good. Next up is highlight. I will briefly mention that I did pick up a pressed powder that I thought was going to be a contour shade for me, but it ended up being much less pigmented than I thought, and it looks almost more like a foundation on me. Trust me, on camera it looks more like a foundation shade, but in store the lighting was all weird, and this actually looked like a cool tone like contour shade, but it is actually a pressed powder. So if you are someone who wants to wear pressed powder foundation, they actually do have some shades there, but it is just way too deep for me, so it just wouldn't have worked. But the formula does not seem horrible, but I just can't properly test that because it's just gonna show up really easily on my skin and just make the makeup look horrible. But I wanted to just talk about that for just a minute, just so you know, if you are a powder foundation fan, they do have some options for you. Shade range, not so great for this one. So next up, we have the highlighter. This is also from LA Colors. As I said, a lot of this is from LA Colors just because that particular store carried a lot of it, and very, you know, you see a lot of the same brands at the dollar store. So, but LA Colors is a nice brand. I really like their eyeliner that I tried from Ulta a little while ago. I will be talking about that later, but it wasn't from the dollar store, but I actually really do enjoy that. And I've heard that the concealers are really good, so I actually do want to get more into LA Colors, but maybe not the ones at the Dollar Tree. We'll have to find out. But the blush from them impressed me. So let's see if the highlighter will. This is in shade Glow Time, and it is kind of like a pinky champagne-y highlight. The packaging is super thin. I actually kind of like that. I do worry that it will break, like the formula will shatter, but as far as like the shade goes, I feel like it's gonna work for me. All right, I'm gonna take my highlighter brush and I'm just gonna go at it. Let me see if I can swatch it first. So it's very powdery, but you can definitely see that luminosity to it. Like, it actually looks really nice on as a swatch. So I'm actually really excited to see what this is gonna do. So you have to knock off the excess because there's a lot of excess powder that pops right off. Ooh, it is showing up. Look at that. Ooh. Hello? Okay. LA Colors. You did that. Is this a Natasha Denona highlighter? Absolutely not. Is this comparable to a lot of drugstore highlighters? Absolutely yes. And this was $1. And I actually like the packaging of it. It's very slim, very compact, great to travel with, great to just pop in your bag and add some more glow. The shade works beautifully for my skin. And I don't know about y'all, but I think that is a blinding highlight. I mean, that's really, really nice. And it feels really soft on the skin. And it doesn't seem to be highlighting any of my texture. So, that. Oh, okay. LA Colors might be doing something with these powder products, I will say. Now, granted, I have tried a couple of these products so far, and not all of them were hits. 2 out of all of them were hits, and then the others were pretty much a miss. But, hey, it only takes one, right? If you can get one of your products for $1, that's saving you a lot of money. Like, let's say the average drugstore highlighter is like $5 or $6. Hey, buy one for $1, it works out, and you hit pan on it. You've saved yourself 5 times that amount already, you know? Now, I'm a lover of luxury highlighters, and I must say, like, yes, this is not exactly the same kind of formula as the luxury highlighters, but this is pretty awesome. I mean, especially for the price. It is showing up beautifully, it's soft and pigmented, and that's really all, and it highlights. That's really all you can ask from it, right? And just because it's $1 doesn't mean it's bad. Feeling super glowy. This is a win. If you find this highlight, please, please grab it. Don't be fooled by the powderiness of it if you swatch it. Honestly, like, it applies better to the face than it does with a swatch, but it looks even more wet on the skin. So far, my face is looking pretty good, even with that bronzer fiasco. So let's get into the fun part, which is eyes. Now, I will say that the eyeshadow colors that they had to choose from are not super bold and colorful. Most of the stuff there is neutral. So we have this one to choose from. It's just a trio of neutral eyeshadows. Have some deeper options, but really not a lot. Sadly, the dollar store is not known for its shade range. This one does actually have a little bit more color in it. As you can see, there's a little purple here and a little bit of red. Now, these are shimmer shades, but they probably end up more satin on the eyes, but I don't understand how you're supposed to get them out of here. So you can kind of swatch it a little bit. You see how it's a shimmer shade, but to get your fingers in there is a lot. So it actually is really luminous though. Like, that's really pretty. And then trying to get the matte shade, it's really hard to swatch. But I mean, they look somewhat pigmented. They're not like the deepest shades ever, but they do show up. So I also have a shimmer topper that I want to try. This is from Revlon. It's an eyeshadow, a loose powder eyeshadow, and it's Revlon Color Charge. So this is a shimmer shade and it is in like a coppery color. It doesn't say the shade name on the package, but I did want to try that out. So I want to put like a neutral kind of eye look on and then go from there. So I will save this one just because of today's look, but I will use this eventually and try it out and let you know what I think. We're going to be using this one and then this as the topper. So we are going to be using this trio here. This is from LA Colors and this is their Sunflower Trio. I don't know why they call it a Sunflower Trio. There's no yellow in here, but that's just what the name is. I'm going to take out this little applicator because I do not need that. I'm going to use brushes because I'm assuming if you're watching this, you have brushes. The Dollar Tree had some brushes, but I already have a ton of them and I didn't want to just buy them to buy them. But let's swatch these to see how they are. So this one seems like it's a shimmer shade. I didn't realize that. I thought it was all matte, but it is a little bit glowy. Almost looks like the highlighter, but just a little less blingy, a little less shiny, I must say. Yeah, this matte ain't showing up on, well, I say that, and then it just did that, so it might actually show up. And then the darker brown, there's a little bit of pigment in there. It's gonna be a very light eyeshadow look, just as a heads up. So I'm gonna go ahead, start with that shimmer shade. I'm gonna take it on this fluffy brush and actually just use that to set my lid. Did that actually lay a color down? It almost looks pink. It's weird. It's white in the pan. Now I'm gonna take that same fluffy brush and go in with the middle shade and see how well that lays down. It's doing a little bit. It's not doing much. If you need a very, 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 very light shadow, then this may be for you, but I would say that, I don't know, like it's taking a lot to build. Now I'm gonna go in with a more dense brush. This is the Lavish Shading Brush. I'm gonna go into that darker brown matte and we're gonna see if we can build it up. And the answer is no. I am really digging in there and it is not doing what I need it to do. So there's not a lot of depth you're gonna get with this palette. I mean, obviously from the shades you knew you weren't gonna get too much, but it's even less impactful than in pan. So it works, but I would say that if you're an everyday makeup wearer and you want to find an affordable eyeshadow palette, this is $1, but I would say to splurge and go for like the $9 ColourPop palettes, just because the formula is so good and you can actually get something that's comparable to a luxury formula, and you'll have even more variety of shades to choose from and depth and things like that. So I would say in a pinch, if you need to, these do work. But from a makeup lover's standpoint, someone who doesn't wear just natural makeup every day, I would say that maybe like, if you want to give these a try, go for it, but it's not going to be super impressive if you have a large makeup collection. I'm just trying to like blend out the edges a little bit. So yeah, it's a very natural look. Okay, so I'm gonna take that lighter matte, well, it's actually a satin. I'm gonna take that lighter satin shade and I'm gonna put it underneath my brow bone, see if it does anything. It does a little bit, but not much. Yeah, that's not doing much. Okay, that is that. I will say it feels a little bit more dry on my eyes. I don't know if that's the shadows or just that it's late at night. I don't know. But just something to note. Let's go ahead and try this shimmer. All right, so it looks beautiful in here. So hopefully it translates on the eyes, but it looks gorgeous. So it's this gold copper color and it is fully sealed. So I'm just putting some on the cap. It's gonna be hard to deal with just because it is messy, but this is really, really pretty. That is gorgeous. I mean, that's similar to every drugstore kind of shimmer powder that I've ever seen. Oh, wow. Okay. That gold swatch right here. That is so pretty. That is from the dollar store. That's pretty impressive. Now, I will say, I don't know what the ingredient difference is, but this is a beautiful shimmer shade. So I'm gonna try that on the lid. Do I wanna put anything down? I'll try it just putting it on my lid and see what happens. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow, that's sparkly. That's really sparkly. That's a beautiful lid shade. Like, wow. Just wow. All right, so thoughts on this. It is very messy. It's hard to keep in the container. It will eventually leak out. It's $1, like cheap packaging, right? But the product inside of it is beautiful. I did not mix it with setting spray because I wanted to see what just the product was like, but I will eventually try that out. But because I don't have a setting spray from the dollar store, I did not want to affect the product in any way. But this is pretty. But because it's not stuck down with anything, I'm not gonna touch it too much because it's probably gonna, you know, come off pretty easily just because I don't have a primer down or anything. But up close, it looks like a really nice shimmer shade. A very nice golden coppery tone. All right, so we do have a mascara, and this is from Wet n Wild, and it is a Mega Wear mascara. Now, I was kind of hesitant about this. I don't know for sure. I don't know what it's supposed to smell like, okay? I don't know what an expired mascara smells like, and I don't know if that is this, but it has a strong smell to it. You know what? I will try it, and I'm taking it off after. I don't know. Should I try this? I don't know if I'm just scaring myself because it's from the Dollar Tree and I've just heard so many horror stories before. But I was really scared to try mascara, so we'll see. I would say that for peace of mind purposes, I probably would just buy the Essence Lash Princess. That's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, mascara of all time, and it's $5, so, you know. But I do want to try this. Okay, I'll suck it up, I'll try it. So here's what the wand looks like. Nothing crazy, just like a thin wand. It's not really doing too much. It's definitely showing up, but it's basically just making my eyelashes black. Which, if you have naturally beautiful lashes, then this might be for you. Because it's $1 and it just makes them look darker. But it's not horrible, actually. But again, I don't know about the longevity. I have not tried this on and kept it on all day, so I'm not sure what it would do. Would it flake off? You know, would you have some issues with it later? I'm not sure. But as far as just application goes, it's pretty nice. All right, so mascara is done. It's not the best mascara ever, but for the price, honestly, like, it's not horrible. Would I wear this over my Essence Lash Princess? No. I would probably not repurchase this, but it looks okay. It's not my favorite, but it looks okay. That's all I have to say about that. Now, I have 2 lipsticks to choose from, and this is the last thing that we're gonna be trying on today to complete the look. So they are one from LA Colors and one from Wet n Wild. So this one is the Wet n Wild, doesn't say what kind it is. I took it out of the box and now I can't remember. This is in shade Breeze. It's like a kind of metallic pinky. Let's see if it'll show up. So it's a metallic kind of light pink. And then the other one is also a metallic-y light pink, but it's leaning a little bit more on the peachy side. Yeah, I think there's both of them side by side. This is the peachier one and this is the Wet n Wild pinky one. I think since I did so much with LA Colors today, I'm gonna give Wet n Wild another shot. The Wet n Wild was the mascara as well, but I'm gonna go ahead and try this one first. Wow, okay. Not bad at all. It's definitely a metallic lip, but not bad, actually. It looks really nice. It's a little shinier than I would have liked. I usually like a matte bullet lipstick and then add gloss if I want, but it almost gives like a glossy sheen, so I'm okay with that. All right, it's not the most pigmented lipstick ever, but again, that's pretty much the overarching theme with Dollar Tree makeup, is it's not gonna be the most in-your-face pigmented makeup. It's $1. Like, come on. It is $1. You get what you pay for. But it's still actually really nice. And I think I was able to get a really nice look out of these products, actually. Like, I would do this again. Let's do a little roundup. So first of all, close up on the eyes. Ignore my mascara job. It's not the best. The mascara was giving me a little bit of an issue getting all of my lashes. So I would not recommend the mascara. I'll just go ahead and say that. But the topper shade I love. This is really nice, and putting this with a setting spray would really amp up that shine too, but I actually like it by itself. It's crazy. It's really good. And that was $1. Duh. So the matte eyeshadows were okay. I could take them or leave them, but if you need a quick and easy eyeshadow look and you're of lighter skin tone, and this would be okay. These mattes probably wouldn't show up on a deeper skin tone, but they may have a deeper option. I'm not sure. But just remember, they are going to apply a little bit lighter in shade than they appear in the pan, and they're going to be a little less pigmented than you would think. So be sure to get a really deep shade if you're gonna want a lot of pigment. So that I could kind of take or leave. This I will definitely use again. This Revlon Color Charge loose powder, definitely will use that again. It's beautiful and it looks great from a distance and up close. So if they have other colors, I might actually get more of those. Next up, the lipstick. I liked the formula. Not like the best lipstick in the whole world, but it definitely works, and it's $1. I will say the packaging is super cheap, and it kind of like it doesn't really click shut, which drives me nuts because it seems like it's gonna fall off. I'm not a huge fan of the packaging. The formula's not bad. For $1, yeah, it's nice. Would I repurchase it after it's done? No. And the LA Colors lipstick. This one was a little bit tougher. I did not try it on, obviously, today, but swatching it, it tugs on the skin, and it's actually less pigmented than the Wet n Wild one. So that one is probably a no for me. The bronzer, the e.l.f. color stick, and the mascara are a no for me. The mascara is okay at best. It's $1. Like, if you really want a mascara that's $1, go for it. But I would 10 out of 10 recommend Essence Lash Princess over that any day. Even if it is $5 instead of $1, it's definitely worth that price increase. Bronzer is okay at best. It's a little too warm for my skin tone. It still was able to look nice, but it took a lot of building to get there, and it still doesn't even look like it's there. Yeah, I don't know where this went. So I have plenty of bronzers in my collection that are affordable that I like. Definitely would not recommend the bronzer either. The e.l.f. color correcting stick, I will keep it just in case, but it does budge. It doesn't dry down fully, and it gets in whatever you put on top of it, so just be careful of that. I don't know how you're supposed to use it, because if it gets into the concealer, then that's kind of going to make it green, and it's gonna make it like really stand out. So I don't know. But on a happier note, Miss Blush and Miss Highlight over here came through today. My highlight is beaming. Like, you can see this from space. It is an icier highlight, so if you're not into the icy highlight look, then you might not like this, but it is a pinky icy shade, so it's kind of fitting. It looks gorgeous. It feels like, I don't know, it feels like nothing on the skin, and it has this beautiful, like, subtle kind of natural shine to it that's still really impactful that I love. $1 for this, absolutely. And then the blush, I really enjoyed the blush. It still looks great. It blended out really beautifully. I love the shade. I do not love the glitter in it as much, but you can knock it off easily and it won't apply to the skin, so I like that. Yeah, these two are winners by far. And then lastly, we had the brow pencil, which was just an epic fail. Don't waste your money on this. But overall, I think we found 3 really good products at the dollar store, so that's a win in my book. So if I can recommend anything, it's the Revlon Color Charge Loose Eyeshadow, the LA Colors Peach Rose Blush, it's a single blush, and then the LA Colors Glow Time Highlighter. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more videos of me testing out makeup from different places, then let me know. More affordable drugstore makeup, I'm always down to try out. I would love to find more products that work at a more affordable price tag, just because luxury makeup can be so expensive. And for something you're just gonna be putting on your face and washing off at the end of the day, like, I don't want it to be that expensive. But I do love luxury makeup, don't get me wrong. But it's nice to find something at a nice price as well. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this style of video, please do let me know. Please smash that like button and hit subscribe if you'd like to join my family here on YouTube. Leave a comment of which product you would like to try from the dollar store. Did you like these products? Did you have a favorite? Did you hate every single one of them and the way they looked on me? Please let me know. But yeah, that's all I have for today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.